Why, hello again, and welcome to Marketing with Purpose. I'm Monica Pitts, and today I'm going to be going technical on you again. I'm sure you're super surprised. So, recently we released a Digging into Data series where I talked about looking at the data from your email marketing, your social media, and your website, and how to look at it to make sense of it. And believe it or not, I thought that these topics were just something that I was passionate about. I mean, I definitely had clients say, Monica, you send these reports every month and they don't make a hill of beans worth of sense to me. And then I also have clients that just completely ignore me when I try to explain to them every month what's going on in their marketing. So I just kind of felt a little bit like maybe people didn't care. But then I also really want to empower people to understand what's going on in their marketing so that they can make good decisions that will help them grow their organizations and reach more people. So I released the Digging into Data series. And what was amazing is I actually had people tell me that it was great. Well, so thank you so much for your feedback. And then I sat down with a client the other day and I reviewed their online marketing for them because we do that regularly with our clients. And one of the things that I noticed is that their blog wasn't going as well as I felt like it should be going. So for those of you guys who have a blog, you know how much time you invest in this blog. It can be a lot of work. And if you're going to put that much work into something, it is absolutely imperative that you know whether or not it's working, because the last thing you want to do is pour hours and hours into making a blog that you feel like is going to connect with people, and then it just falls flat. So today I'm going to tell you what I do to figure out whether or not a blog is working. So that if you are blogging right now, you can go out and look at your own blog and use the same method to assess whether or not your blog is actually doing what you think it should be doing. And if you're considering blogging, then you can listen to this and think, all right, well, now I know that when I invest my time in blogging, I'm going to be able to tell how my investment is paying off. So in this podcast, I am going to talk about different places that I go to find information that will indicate to me on a relatively big picture level whether or not a blog is working. So with that, let's get to business.
If you're a natural-born marketer, you're one lucky son of a gun. If you're like most people, marketing, especially online marketing, is about as appealing as standing in a police lineup. The May Create team of creatives has transformed websites and digital marketing from craptastic to fantastic since 2005. Our podcast, Marketing with Purpose, makes sense of marketing so you can make purposeful decisions instead of carrying on with the same old crap you've been doing. And now your host, Monica Pitts, founder of May Create, with another episode on how to make your marketing not suck.
Now, before I dig into my process of analyzing whether a blog is working or not, I want to remind you that there are not just show notes for this episode, but an actual blog post that you can look at and go through as a resource for yourself when you're doing this for your own blog or when you plan to do it for your blog in the future. So don't neglect this resource. It's out on our own blog at podcast.maycreate.com. And I'm going to use a lot of words today that are technical. And you'll be able to use this blog post to know how those things are spelled and what I'm talking about, which will help you really along your journey. So once again, podcast.maycreate.com. And while you're there, you could even hop on over to our resources section. We have downloadable ebooks for free that are covering things like blogging and digital marketing and even how to plan a website that can help you along in your marketing journey. Alrighty. So how to tell if your blog is working. So first off, I want to think a little bit about how your blog is serving you. Most blogs serve an organization in two ways. They make relationships and they maintain relationships. So what do I mean by that? By making relationships, our blog hangs out out in the internet. And when people search for stuff, our blog can show up in search results. And it may be the very, very first time that anybody has ever encountered us. In that way, our blog is making relationships with people. So I am going to go over the things that I do to ensure that it's making relationships with people. The second thing that blog does is it maintains relationships with people. So you're going to make your blog post, and then you're not just going to let it sit on your website. You're also going to talk about your blog post in your email marketing and in your social media and all over the place. And that allows you to drive traffic back into your website and talk to people again, because we know that we can't just suddenly meet somebody and ask them to marry us, right? We have to continue a relationship. And even when you're in a marriage, for those of you who are married, we know that it's work to maintain a relationship. You don't just get married and stay best friends with somebody that you don't talk to or that you never communicate with. You have to work on that relationship. So it's the same thing with your donor relationships and your customer relationships. You start at one place and then you work through to another. And so your blog is there to help you maintain that relationship by giving them more information that they need and allowing them to understand who you really are. So I'm going to talk about how I look and make sure that that's working as well. Okay, so to start, to look and see if your blog is working, you're going to go into Google Analytics. If you don't have your website hooked up to Google Analytics, I am sorry, friends, this is not going to be fun. You're going to have to hook it up to Google Analytics, and then you're going to have to wait for a while, like at least a month, so you have some data to look at. If you have a super low amount of traffic on your website, you might have to wait a few months. And when I say super low, I mean like if you've only got a couple hundred visitors a month on your website after you get this Google Analytics tracking installed, then you're going to have to wait like 3 months or more before you really have enough data to understand if your blog is working. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to review too small of a window of data, because then that limits our view and we can make decisions on things that aren't really real. So we want to have more data to look at. So I'm going to log into Google Analytics, and the first thing that I'm going to look at is just my overall traffic data. I'm going to look at the sessions. Now, if you have a blog on your website, your sessions should be creeping up month over month. You can compare month over month. You can also look at the timeline and benchmark by month. And what I do with my personal website is I just keep a spreadsheet where I go in and every month I just record the sessions. Does this sound old school to you? Because it totally sounds old school to me, but here's what I have learned from this activity. If I have it in a report where I can see it whenever I want and it's super easy to grab it, then I don't ever look at the report. I'm not held accountable, right? Because I can just go look at it whenever I want. Now, when I physically put it into the spreadsheet, I see it. Like I'm typing the number in and I'm like, oh man, things aren't going well, or oh man, things are going great, right? And I see it and I know it and I'm held accountable to it. So I love that method. We even use it for each one of our employees when we're recording the number of hours that we've billed out. We still use it in a spreadsheet, and I would do the same thing if I were you. I would go out and I would look at it in a spreadsheet. Now for my clients, I have made a Data Studio report that benchmarks every 6 months, that looks at what's happening in different areas of their websites. So that way I can see that time continuum without having to run a bunch of reports for them and put it into a table. But before I built that report, I put their stuff into a table as well, so I could see it. And the act of calling up the information and typing it in somehow for me gives me enough time to process it and see the difference between it, because what we're looking for are patterns. If your pattern is trending up, that's what it should be doing with your blog. If it's not trending up, that's not right. If it's got a huge spike, that's probably also not right. So it should just be trending up gradually. That's what should be happening with your overall sessions on your website. The next thing that I'm going to look at in Google Analytics is I'm going to look at organic traffic. Your organic traffic should also be going up because you're putting things out onto Google that people can find. And that is what your organic traffic is measuring, is search engines pulling people into your site. So that should always be going up. Email traffic, if you are promoting and maintaining relationships by sending your blog posts out via email to your email list, then your email traffic should also be going up. And I'll talk a little bit more about emails in a minute, because that is another way to see how well your blog articles are doing individually. Okay, so then your social traffic. So if you're promoting this via social media and you have good topics, then your social traffic should also be picking up. Now, the thing is with social media traffic and email traffic, at first you should see a bump and then it'll probably level off, because you're not going to have a ton of extra traffic coming in from posting about your blog posts. You should see a bump up when you start doing it, and then it should level off. It could increase incrementally though as your email list grows and as your social following grows, but really it's not going to rise nearly as quickly as that organic traffic or your overall sessions. So just keep that in mind. If nobody's coming in via email or social traffic, if no extra people come in after you start blogging and posting about your blog topics, then your blog topics are not on point and they're not working. Or at least it's not working to maintain the relationship. Because remember, you meet these people and then you want to deepen your relationship with them. So you ask them to sign up for your email list, you ask them to join your Facebook page, and then from there, you start the conversation over and over again with the content that you're putting out in your blog because you send it out to them. So if nobody is going to your website from your emails or from your social media, it probably means that you're not publishing stuff that they're interested in. Then you're also going to look at return visitors. This is another way to gauge whether or not you're maintaining your relationships well. So those return visitors are coming from email traffic and social traffic most of the time. Or they could be coming from organic traffic too. You never know. They're from all over the place. But the return visitors are people that have went to your website more than once in the given time frame that you're looking at. You want to have, a healthy nonprofit website will probably have around 15% or more return visitors. And it kind of depends on what's going on. If you're doing tons of events and they have to sign up online, or if there is like a membership portal where they have to log in over and over again, then you're going to see higher return traffic. But for the most part, if you're not doing those types of things, you should probably see around a 15% return traffic to your website. And that would mean that you have a good relationship with people and that they're returning to you. And as you keep blogging and promoting your stuff, those return visitors at first should jump up and then they should remain steady. The percentage, that is, should jump up and remain steady. And then it should creep up over time as you get more followers. Okay, so then I go in and I click on content, and then I click on landing pages in Google Analytics. And from there, I look at blog specific traffic. So the way that you can tell blog specific traffic is there is a search bar. You type in the word blog. Now, here's the deal. Your website has to be set up correctly for you to do this. A lot of websites are going to be set up one of two ways. So you're going to go out to your blog page and then click on a blog article. Now look up in the URL at the top there. If it has your website URL /blog/name of article in the top URL bar there, you're going to be good. You're just going to go out and type in the word blog in the search bar, and then it'll filter all of the landing pages down to just the blog pages in your website. Now, some websites are set up where it has the year up there. So if you go out to your website and you click on a blog article and it says your website URL /2020 / whatever numbers, it could be a month, it could be the number of the month, it could be the date that you published it plus the number of the month / name of the article. So that is different, but it's still okay. And you can still find your information there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go into Google Analytics, and I'm going to click along as I do this to make sure that I tell you the exact right thing to do. So from there, you're going to go to that search bar and you're going to click edit. You're going to have include landing page, matching regular expression, and then you're going to type in blog use the pipe sign, it kind of looks like an I, but a little bit taller. That means and. That's and in regular expression. So blog, pipe 2020, pipe 2019, pipe 2018, back for as many years as you've been blogging. And then you're going to click apply, and it will sort all of the pages and show you just the blog pages. All right, so once you get there, then you can tell the exact percentage of visitors that come into your website from your blog pages. Now, a good website would have 25% or more of their traffic coming in through their blog. I mean, even if you, okay, so back to the thing, it all depends. If you're publishing a whole bunch of stuff, then you should have more people coming in. If you're not publishing very often, then you would probably have less people coming in. Unless you have some amazing blog posts that are just bringing in thousands of people, in which case you could have lots and lots and lots. But let's just say that your blog posts are pretty normal. And that means that, someplace around that 25% mark is pretty great. Now, my website brings in like 85% of its traffic through the blog. But we've also been blogging since like 2009 or 10. Man, it's been a really long time. Either way, we've been doing it for a long time. So we have a lot of pages out there that Google can find and share with people. And that's why we have so much traffic coming in through our blog. Now, the client that I was telling you about that I reviewed their website data earlier this month, they only had like 4% of their traffic coming in through their blog. And I know that they've been blogging for a really long time. They've been blogging for years, and they publish multiple things a month. And I thought, oh man, this isn't right. It's just really not right. And we want to make sure that your blogging efforts are working. So it doesn't mean that they should stop blogging. It doesn't mean that blogging is the wrong thing for them. It means that we need to get more organized about planning what they're doing to make sure that the thing they're doing is going to work. And I will tell you about how to do that in a later podcast. Okay. So you're going to look at that blog specific traffic. And if it's low, if it's, in single digit percentages, that's probably not what you want. That probably means it's not working as well as you want it to. And then when it starts getting up into double digits and getting higher and higher, that's great. That's what we want this blog to be doing. Okay. So the next place that you're going to look is you're going to look at your email data. Remember, we're going to email out people about our blog posts. So look and see, are you getting more email signups? Your email sign-up form should be on like every single page in your website, especially your blog pages, right? Because if that's where you're going to meet people, you need to ask them to give them your phone number. Oh, even no, not give them your phone number. I was thinking like if you're going to ask somebody on a date, you'd probably ask for their phone number. But yeah, so you're going to ask them for their contact information. So that way you can keep having this relationship with them, right? And we want to do that on every blog page. So the first thing you're going to do is just make sure that you're getting more email signups all the time. That should always be growing. And then the next thing that you can do is you can look at where those email signups came from, like what page did they come in on. So depending upon how you are allowing people to sign up for your email list, it will tell you what page they signed it up on. And if that's from your blog pages, then that's awesome. It means that your blog is doing what it's supposed to do. Even if you don't have a ton of traffic coming to your blog, if lots of people are signing up for your email list, you're winning, right? Because you're getting what you need. You're starting relationships. Okay, the other thing on your emails is you can tell which blog topics are working with your current list, with the people that you're trying to maintain relationships with by looking at the click-through rates on your emails. So a lot of our emails, especially the automated ones, the title is going to be the name of a blog post. So the open rate on that email would let me know how interested my audience is in that particular topic. Then the click-through rate on it would be another great indicator, like how many people actually clicked on it and went to that page. That would be another great indicator on whether or not they're interested in the topic or not. So what I find is that my people that are on my list, they do want to know things that I talk about in general, like this. They want to know this because they have blogs, they have a website. They don't need to think about, oh, what am I going to put on my about page? Because I already told them that. Now they're like, oh my gosh, I have this blog and I'm trying to work it on my own. Is it working? Am I wasting my time? So this is a great article for them, right? Another thing that they love is they love it when we talk about ourselves. Funny enough, right? So every time that we publish a post, it's like, welcome Race to the team because he's a new guy. Or if we say Rebecca got a new puppy, or if we welcome Stacy's new baby, which she hasn't had one in a while, but when she had her last baby, it was an amazing email. It did so well. And it's because the people that we're maintaining relationships with, they're at a different spot. They want to learn harder things to improve their marketing because they already went through the beginning journey, right? And they also want to continue a relationship with us and our team. And you'll find that the people on your list also have those varying interests. So don't use your email click-throughs and your email opens as absolutely this is what you blog about. You only blog about the new babies in the company and how to tell if your blog is working. No. You don't just blog about those things. Those are part of your mix. They're a good indicator that people are interested in that content and that you can keep maintaining that relationship with them by sharing that with them. But you don't just want to focus there because remember, the other part of your blog is to meet new people and they don't know you yet. And so they don't care about Stacy's baby. Well, they might care about Stacy's baby, but they don't know that they care about Stacy's baby yet. So they're not going to go out into Google and search for Stacy's new baby. They're not going to do that. That doesn't make sense, right? And so a lot of those stories that you publish to your blog, which are so amazing to continue relationships with your donors, are not things that people are going to find online to start relationships with you. And that's what your blogging mix is going to spread out over different topics. And I will talk about that again in another blog post in depth about exactly how to do that. But once again, so email is another place that you can look and see if your blogging is working. And then the last place that I look is Search Console. Search Console lets you know how browsers, things like Google, and I mean, it's only Google actually, I would say. Browsers are things like Yahoo and Bing and Google, but Search Console only tells you how Google is interacting with your website. And it tells you things like if your website is terrible on mobile or if you have errors on your pages, it reports that to you. But then it also tells you what search terms people are using to find your website. That's awesome. So when I look at the Search Console report, okay, let me take one more step back also because I get so excited about this stuff. So when you set up your Search Console, it's really easy. It's as easy as setting up Google Analytics. You're going to put a piece of code in there and then it's going to give you access to it. The cool thing is it will often give you back information. So unlike Google Analytics, which when you set it up, you're just going to get from today moving forward, Search Console, it all depends. It's a total crapshoot. But for many of my clients, when I set up Search Console for them, I might get a month's worth of data. I might get 3 months worth of data. I could get 6 months worth of data. I don't know why. I really don't. I just know that sometimes it actually gives me stuff. And that's pretty awesome because I really like to start with something, right, instead of nothing. But when you look at Search Console, you're going to look at performance. And then you look at your search terms. Your search terms, if your blogging is working, you're going to have all kinds of people that are searching for your name. And that's probably going to be a large percentage of the traffic that's coming in through Google. And you'll see that. It'll have your name there. And it should have your name there. And if it doesn't, you should be worried. Then you're going to go up to the top and you're going to exclude all terms that include your name. So take a portion of your name. You don't have to have the whole thing, but take a portion of your name. So I would put May Create in there and I would exclude it. And that's going to give me all the other search terms that people are using that are not branded to me. I should have those. And they should be increasing all the time because I'm always publishing new stuff. So you're going to look at a few things there. You're going to look at it and see, how many times did it show my listings? Because it's going to fluctuate for times of the year because sometimes people are looking for answers more than others. But if you're publishing more content in general, it should be moving up depending upon the part of the year that you're in, but it should be moving up. You should be getting more impressions out in the search engine. Then you're also going to look at click-throughs. You should be getting more click-throughs. So more traffic should be coming to your site from this system, from Google. And the best thing is when your placement, where you are in search results, is also going up. So I just found a new feature in Google Search Console where you can compare spaces of time. So you can compare 6-month periods. So I like to look at a 6-month period, the 6-month period that I'm ending, and I compare it with the 6-month period before then. And I look at it and I say, I look at it for both my branded keywords, things that have my name in it, and things that don't have my name in it. And the things that don't have my name in it, if I'm blogging all the time, I should see more impressions, obviously depending upon the time of year. I know I keep saying that, but especially for my construction clients, if you are doing air conditioning repair, then clearly you're not going to have as much traffic in the winter, right? And that just is what it is. People aren't looking for answers at that point in time. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at it. But in general, if your service is steady over time, you would see more impressions and you would see more clicks over time for your non-branded keywords in Google. And also, if your blogging is working, you should see more impressions and more clicks over time for your branded keywords because people know about you and then they're looking for you by name. So that was a lot. And I hope that makes sense to you. I can do a video and show you. That would probably be a good idea. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll make you a video so that way you can look at it and really understand what the heck I'm talking about. And I can also make a video about how to look at that blog specific traffic too. Okay, but now you know, these are the things that I look at to make sure that your blog is working for you. So let's start at the beginning and just recap really quickly. Remember that your blog is serving you in 2 ways. It's going to make relationships and maintain relationships. And when you look at the data, you're trying to understand those 2 different audiences and how they're interacting with this content. So when we're looking at making relationships, the overall sessions on your website should be going up. Your organic visitors should be going up, your organic traffic, and your blog specific traffic should be going up. Those are all things that should be going up. And we're also going to look in Search Console, and we're going to look for general terms, not branded, not with your name in it, but without your name in it. Those, we should have more impressions and more clicks from those. That means your blog is working to make new relationships for you. Now for maintaining relationships, remember we're going to look at our email traffic in Google Analytics. We're going to look at our social traffic. We're going to look at our return visitors. And we are then going to go into our email system because we're publishing this also on email. And we're going to see how many people are signing up. We can look and see what page they signed up on. We can also look at what topics resonated with them and if they're clicking and coming through to our website or not. And then in Search Console, you should have more traffic, more impressions for your general terms as well, because you're pushing more traffic to your website by putting more content out there. Whoa. And this, my friends, is why I'm going to remind you that after this fabulous audio lesson about how to tell if your blog is working, that you can go out to my website and go to podcast.makecreate.com and get a video about how to tell on Google Analytics and also how to tell in Search Console. And then you will also get all of this in a nicely formatted blog post where you can go through and do this in a very systematic fashion instead of just like listening to it right now. So podcast.makecreate.com. Meet me there. I'll give you that great information. And yeah, so that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for all the time that we've spent together talking about this awesome and technical topic. So, I know you've got things to do. So get out of here. Your blog isn't going to examine itself. Now go forth and market with purpose.
Thanks again for listening to Marketing with Purpose. Head over to mayecreate.com, MAYECREATE.com. Yeah, you heard me right, MAYECreate.com for podcast notes and more resources to grow your business. Don't let your marketing suck. Get your pride on, market with purpose.